is it worth it to get solar?
Today's video is sponsored by SimpliSafe.
Those solar panels look like I've had them for 20 years and I've never cleaned them.
So yes, I know the comments. You're already saying, I can't believe you've only had that a year and they were that dirty when you started the video. Seriously, that was from one dust storm and sandstorm. It has been a year since we got these solar panels and I have a year's worth of data to actually see, was it worth getting solar? And so today I'm gonna share some of my thoughts about my experience with having Tesla solar and a Tesla Powerwall. We're gonna run the numbers and look at it from a data perspective and see financially, how much money did I save? How long will it take until I pay this thing off? And then maybe it'll give you some insights on whether you should buy Tesla solar someday. And now that the solar panels are actually somewhat clean, I think we're ready to start. We have solar in 3 different places at our home. The ones that you see right here, which is above the master patio, and it is facing west. We also have an entire array along our RV garage. And then on the backside of our YouTube studio, we also have solar arrays going along there. If you're somebody that's looking to get solar, one of the first things that you need to look at is, do you have a south-facing roof that you can put the panels on? Unfortunately for us, the front of our house is south-facing, so if we put solar panels on the front of the house, it just didn't have that aesthetic that we would want on the front of our house. So we worked with what we had, and all of our panels are facing where the sun sets, out to the west. There's a good portion of the day where the sun rises in the morning and is coming up, where the sun doesn't even touch our solar panels. And if we are facing south, we'd be able to capture all of that sunlight and harness the energy from it. But even with them not being in the optimal direction, because we live in a place that is pretty much sunny every single day, we still are able to get a lot of power from these solar panels. Only a few days a year does it even get cloudy or rain, and we maybe once every couple of years see a tiny bit of snow. And on the negatives of not having very much rain is every single month I have to come out here and clean off these solar panels because we get so much dust and sand and bird poo that gets on here that if we don't clean it off, then the production actually goes down on the solar panels. Man, it is hot up here on the roof. Doesn't help that I'm wearing a black shirt. And the crazy thing is, look at it right now. I just cleaned this off with water and a brush. And now that it's drying up, you can already see a lot of sand that didn't even come off with that. It's some thick stuff where we live. Look at this. This is from the one storm. Look how dirty this is. And even this gate, it almost looks like it's meant to be this way. But if you look at the other side, look, they're plain black. This is supposed to be black. The storm was coming from this way, wrecked. To give you an idea what this setup looks like, on the side of our house right here, we have the Tesla gateway. We also have our inverter, and then the energy runs up this pipe into the roof, and they actually had to run the wires all the way through our entire attic, down and then over to the RV garage. If only I would have thought of this before we built the house, it would have been a lot easier to do the wiring and definitely lower costs when it comes to labor and running wires, because after the house is built, it was a little bit tricky. It'll be less of a hassle, but it'll also save you some money. These panels that are on the back side of my studio, I really like them because I don't see them at all. And the nice thing is our neighbors have a big RV garage right here, so it doesn't even bother my neighbors. They don't even have to see them, which is nice. And then back here in our RV garage, we have our pool stuff. We have another Solar Edge inverter and shutoff valve, and also a breaker that is for the solar. It was so much power that we couldn't do it with one inverter, so we had to have one on this side of the house and one on the other side of the house for the other solar array. And the power walls, we do have 2 of them inside of our garage. This one, fortunately, we got for free from Tesla when they have the Tesla referral program for getting Teslas. We have lots of Teslas. We've got the Roadster, we've got the Model S, we've got the Model X, we also have a Model Y. And back in the day, Tesla would give you rewards based off of people that bought cars off of your code. So anyway, we got one of these for free, which right now, they're anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000, I think, just for the battery. And then on top of that, you have to pay for the labor and then all the wiring and everything for it. Because we were getting one, it just made sense to get a second one. So we bought this one. And I would say all in all, when looking at the numbers for paying for both this and the installation of it, it was around $15,000 total. But if you didn't get one for free, it would cost you over $20,000. One of the questions that I've had from people is, what problems have you had with the solar system during installation or once it's been installed? The first one is, this is a Solar Edge inverter. This takes the energy from the solar panels and inverts it and converts it into the right type of power so that you can actually either put it to the grid or use it inside of your house. It's a very important piece of the whole system. But the problem is there's some weird thing inside of our neighborhood where multiple houses have received this jolt of power from our power company. I don't really understand it. It crashed both of the inverters. So we went 2 months without having a functioning inverter. We weren't harnessing any of that electricity. It was under warranty and Solar Edge replaced both of them for free for us, but we didn't make money for 2 months and we didn't help the planet by using energy from the sun, and that made me a little sad. The other problem that we had is that I didn't realize when we first did the initial setup that we could fit more panels along this wall. And so 2 months into getting it, we had them come out and put more panels on. And during that installation process, they had to run a bunch of cables. And we had multiple days where we did not have energy on there. And I know I've mentioned enough that it gets dirty where we live and the panels get dirty and you have to clean them and it's a very steep roof. That's just a local thing to my place. Another problem that we had is this box right here. There were days where we were generating a lot more energy during the heat of the day, like right now, than what our house was using. But when I noticed month after month is when I looked at my energy bill, we weren't selling any energy back to the power company. This went on for 4 or 5 months. So I called up my local power company and they informed me, you don't have the right meter on your house. Turns out you have to get a special meter so that your power meter will push back power to the power company. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter if you're generating more power, it just stays with your house or fills up your battery pack inside of your house. And any excess stuff on top of that, it just doesn't really get used anywhere. Well, it took about a week and it didn't cost me any money, but they installed this fancy meter and then I could sell energy back. But I did lose 3 or 4 months that I could have sold back to the power company, which would have made us money off of the energy generated from our solar panels. Today's video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. Our same builders that are our friends that built this house are also building this one behind here. And if you remember, at the time, they did not have power set up and they needed a security camera because people were stealing stuff from job sites around our town. Well, this is the way that we had set it up. We got this board right here and we have the camera that is sitting on here. It's a SimpliSafe outdoor wireless camera. Through the SimpliSafe app, I can pull up the camera, see it live, but what's cool is that in the evenings, when people are gone from here, if somebody's walking through the backyard, the motion sensor senses it, notifies me on the phone, and I can look to see. What's great about the outdoor wireless cameras is that first of all, they are wireless. I can just stick it onto a random 2x4, point it whatever direction I want to as long as it's on my Wi-Fi and connected to the base station. And also if there's movement, it notifies me and it notifies our builder that something's happening and they can click on it and look at it and verify, oh yeah, this is just some random thing, or no, this is somebody that doesn't belong to be in the backyard. And the way that I set it up on here is, oh, look at that. It's wireless. It's actually working right now. There is a battery inside of it that is rechargeable, and every once in a while I will go in and recharge the battery, and then I stick it out here in the weather, in the rain, in the wind. It stays on the board and gives me the shots that I need. SimpliSafe is more than just a camera. At our last house, our rental house, we connected a SimpliSafe doorbell with the video camera at the front. We connected the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors in the house, which was really nice because I didn't have to do any additional wiring. Everything was connected through the base station over Wi-Fi, and we had an instant security system for our house. So whether it's for a camera that's looking at a construction house next door to you, or if it's a total home security like the rental home that we used to have, SimpliSafe is an easy to set up, great option for security. Give SimpliSafe a try. There's a link in the description that is specific to our channel at simplisafe.com/whatsinside. And you can save 20% off of your SimpliSafe security system and get your first month for free. Thank you to SimpliSafe for sponsoring this video. Now, back to the solar. We need to get into the numbers, what you really came here for. How much energy did our entire house use? How much did the solar offset that? And then also, how much money did that save? Is it worth it to get solar? The first thing that's pretty obvious is we have a very large home. So in total, it's around 7,500 square feet. We are also an all-electric family, and we charge all 4 of our Teslas here at our house. We have a giant pool, and in the floor, it has self-cleaners inside of it that for many hours of the day, it runs these pumps. So there's a lot of things that take up a lot of energy inside of our house. And the other very important point is that I have not met somebody that has a lower energy cost than what we have here at our house in Southern Utah. The national average cost is 13 cents per kilowatt hour. Here, where I live, it's only 6 cents per kilowatt hour. It's a lot cheaper to buy electricity for your house and run your electric cars than most places around the country. But on the flip side, it also makes solar panels not as economical as what it would be somewhere that has higher energy costs, which essentially just means the payoff takes longer until it's worth it for you to have solar. So how much energy did we use? In a 12-month period that we had solar, we used 75,000 kilowatt hours of energy. That was our entire consumption for the house. Now, 24,500 kilowatts of that was produced from solar and offset what we would have taken from the power grid. So the solar panels that we have on our house over a 12-month period covered 32% of our energy needs. It would have cost us around $4,500 for our power bill for the entire 12 months, but the energy saved us around $1,450 for the year. Solar rates vary based off of where you live. Right here it's 6 cents. The national average is 13.72 cents. If we just had the national average of power cost here where we live, we would have saved $3,300. And I know some places like in California are even more than that, but power just happens to be really cheap where we live. How much did I spend on this entire system? Well, I told you we had a few unique things, 3 different spots on the house, really steep. People had to use scaffolding to put the solar up. And then we also put in 2 power walls. I paid people to do the whole thing for me. All-in cost for everything on my solar system, along with the power walls, was $62,368. When I installed this, and now even for 2022, there is a 26% federal tax credit that you can get when you install solar on your house. So that reduced my cost by $16,216. And then in the state of Utah, they gave me a $1,200 tax credit on my taxes, giving me an actual real cost of this system being $44,952. Based off of saving $1,472 in my first year, it would take me 30 years of that same production in order to pay off my initial cost of buying the solar panels. That's not that great considering that solar panels' useful life is also 30 years. I know this is a lot of numbers and a lot of data, but essentially 30 years, not ideal. So I decided to run the numbers a different way. What about if I didn't get the Tesla Powerwalls? How many years would it take me to pay back the system if I would have just got the solar installation and the labor and all the things that are associated with that? Based off of the rate that I have here, it would take me 22 years to pay it off. In hindsight, I would say that I would not have got the Tesla Powerwalls. They did cost me a lot of money. We don't have a lot of power outages here. I don't have natural disasters. We live in beautiful, sunny paradise here. And obviously when it comes to getting solar, there's a lot more to think about than just how fast can you pay it off. It's important to think about the impacts that we have on the environment. Have you ever asked yourself, where does your power come from? And I don't mean like come from the power lines, but where does that power come from to go into the power lines to get to your house? A lot of times it's from burning coal. It could be from nuclear. It could be from one of those big dams like Lake Mead or Lake Powell, where they have the hydroelectric turbines. Like when we went to Lake Mead and saw how that all works. But your energy that you use in your house is generated somewhere. So when you're thinking about getting solar, it's more than just how fast can I get to the point where it's making me money. I do like thinking about what impact do I have on the world environmentally by having these panels on my house. So here's the question I had. That 24,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, what positive impact did that have on the environment? And what's cool is I found this website that the EPA has, and I'll put a link in the description, where you can put in how much energy you generated off of your solar panels. It gives you some comparisons of how much carbon dioxide that you displaced by doing that. Over that 12 months, I was able to displace 17.4 metric tons of carbon dioxide. What exactly does that mean? That is equivalent to the emissions that come from a gas-powered car that drives 43,170 miles. That's equivalent to 40.3 barrels of oil and that impact that has on the environment from being burned. Or how about this number? It was equivalent to the same amount of carbon dioxide that is put out into the earth from somebody charging their cell phone 2,100,000 times. That is crazy. My solar panels have the same amount of positive impact on our carbon footprint as 6 tons of recycled materials going to the recycling plant. It's really crazy to think that these solar panels that just sit there on our roof that don't take hardly any effort by me or anybody else had the same positive impact on the world as 20.6 acres of US forest in 1 year. So my analysis of 1 year of having these solar, is it worth it? Well, financially, I think a lot of you would probably say, looking at the numbers, it's not worth it. It's kind of not right now. There's a lot of other variables that come into play over the next few years. And do energy prices skyrocket? Do they go high? Then it makes this more valuable. Maybe, and it's debatable, and I would agree with you on some level, I probably shouldn't have got solar just for the financial reasons here where I live. But to the financial point, I would argue when we ran the numbers, if somebody bought this house and they had no electric cars and they only had gas-powered cars, these solar panels would cover anywhere from 80 to 95% of all of this house's energy needs. So that is pretty good. I'm grateful that I got solar and it was definitely worth it for me. And I feel like I've done some things to really dial in how efficient I am with the solar panels. And so I'm excited to see what it looks like in the next 12 months because I think we're gonna save a lot more money by having them. So there you go, a real data download of a video right there, but I definitely wanted to give you my thoughts of having Tesla Solar for a year and the realities of what is it like to own it? Does it save you money? What's the impact on the world? And overall, I think it's a positive. I'm grateful I got it. And I definitely recommend, if you're able to, get solar on your house. Whether it's Tesla Solar like we got, or if you do it yourself like my friend Zach from Jerry Rig Everything did, either way, you can make it financially make sense in some ways, but also you have a very big positive impact on the world. And that's a good thing. I need some help getting down from here. Is that a new shirt?
I just tried on.
Let me see the back of it.
I just tried on a cashmere shirt, but it's kind of hot to be out in this like 80-degree weather.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm keeping it, so.
All right, well, hold the ladder for me.
Okay.
It's really high. For the 12-month period of wow, that was loud. And the supercharger has nothing to do with the electricity. We just have a random supercharger housing in our house. It's a very important piece of the whole system. I don't really understand it. Wrecked. 6 tons. That's a lot of recycling. That's not that great.